Now back to New England Nation.
We're back with the Roundtable. A lot to get to right now with Taylor, Rosie, and Gresh. All right, let's get started quickly here. Do the Patriots do anything for Tom Brady pregame, postgame? Should they? And what will the fan reception be like, Gresh?
I think there should be a little video, nothing major. I think when Tom Brady comes running out on the field, it'll be cheers. Then when everybody goes back inside after warm-ups, they come back out again, there'll be some. Then the first time Brady runs onto the field for an offensive drive, he gets booed. And then when Tom Brady breaks the record in the first quarter and sets a brand new NFL passing mark, I think the NFL will force the game to stop down. It'll be honored. People will applaud. And then they boo the snot out of him the rest of the game.
Yeah, I agree with Gresh. I mean, they did something special for Julian Edelman. They have to do it for Tom Brady. NFL dominance for 20 seasons, 6 Super Bowls. Out of respect for this guy, you can't boo him. Obviously, when they score a touchdown, you can. But you have to show at least a little video. I mean, they did that for Julian Edelman at halftime with a little ceremony, too.
I like the video idea. I think Robert Kraft will definitely want to do something for Tom. Bill Belichick, I'm sure he wouldn't like that.
Is this the best group of weapons that Tom Brady's ever had? He's had a decent amount of good weapons in his career. 07 comes to mind, obviously, with Randy Moss. And how do the Patriots try to slow him down, Taylor?
It's going to be tough. Slowing them down, this is when Stephon Gilmore would be crucial. They really wish that they had him this week. And I mean, you got to argue that this is the best set of weapons. You look around and it's like, how are they going to keep up with these guys? There's somebody everywhere, especially with Gronk also knowing the system. I think that tandem is going to be huge.
From defense to offense, Gresh, how does the Patriots' offensive approach change knowing that the Bucs can score in bunches?
I think that's where you got to try to slow the game down a little bit more. Clearly, the red zone efficiency has got to be about touchdowns versus field goals. And I don't think you run at the Tampa defense. I think it might be more spread them out, and I would change the pace. You get into the second quarter, start to pick up the pace a little bit, maybe run a little 2-minute drill. The best thing the Patriots could do to slow down that pass rush is to press on the accelerator and back off. Keep that Tampa defense guessing.
We need explosive plays from the offense here this week. We really haven't seen it from them. This is a big week for Mac to prove what he can do with his offense, especially after last week when he threw 3 interceptions. And
when you look at some of the stats over the first 3 weeks, the Bucs are giving up the most passing yards in the NFL. Granted, they faced some good offenses, including in the first night against Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, but the Patriots still have a chance to push the ball down the field. All right, last question here. I want to save some time for it. The pinnacle moment during Tom Brady and Bill Belichick's career in New England together. Gresh?
Oh, it's the Super Bowl where they beat Atlanta and came back from 28-3. I personally don't think there is anything that touches that. That was a comeback that needed all 3 phases of the game. The offense had to perform. You had a guy like Dante Hightower who was fantastic. And again, I mentioned it earlier. Everybody's squawking about, dink and dunk, blah, blah, blah. Nobody was complaining about that whenever Brady was throwing it 10 times to James White 2 yards down the field.
If that's not the pinnacle, guys, then what is? That Super Bowl was outrageous. Watching that comeback, it's one of the greatest comebacks ever in sports history.
I have to agree, too. You really can't top it. The greatest Super Bowl comeback ever. Overtime, tying the game up, going to overtime, winning it. You just knew they were going to win it as soon as they forced overtime. Incredible. I will never forget that.
I do agree with you guys. However, I would contend that the Super Bowl to beat the Seahawks was just as important and impactful, knowing the amount of time from 2004 to 2014. It had been a whole decade of time where the Patriots hadn't been on top.